You're listening to the Jim Boy Star Podcast, episode 92, titled Dragon Warrior for Life, Part 4, guest starring Kenshin 1913. Welcome everyone to the Jim Boy Star Podcast, and I'm here with Kenshin 1913, aka Pete, for some more Dragon Warrior for Life, and we're going to talk Chapter 4. How are you doing, Pete?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well. This chapter in particular is all about revenge. So let's start it right up. Go ahead. You start off and introduce to us our main characters for this chapter.
Okay, so this chapter is called the Sisters of Monbarbara. And basically we play as two girls. One of them is called Nara, and she is a fortune teller. And one of them is called Mara, and she is a dancer. So we start off the game with, or the chapter with Mara dancing and finishing up her dance. And she goes in the back and she talks with her sister about how this was her final performance. Now they can get ready and go and take down this man named Balzac.
That'd be Ballsack.
Or Ballsack, right? And pretty much what happened was before the game started, Balzac and their father, Edgar, were working on some sort of alchemy kind of thing, and Balzac killed their father, so they pretty much want to go and avenge their dad. It's a revenge story, a good revenge story.
Yeah, I was going to say, this chapter is all about revenge, and if you're actually playing the chapter, and I think, Pete, you can back me up, it's all about grinding. So, look, can we talk about the horrible, whoever named these two girls, horrible naming pattern as parents. Can you imagine if, like, do you have a brother or sister?
Yes, I do.
A brother, I guess I should say specifically, since you're a guy. So, like, imagine if your parents named, like, you're Pete, and then the other one, your brother's name was Leet. Even though it's that, actually, the Mara and Nara stuff is way worse than that because the parents got even lazier because they're only off by one letter.
Right.
Now, I will mention at this time that this is another casualty of the Dragon Warrior / Quest renaming process. Because when as time goes on, we mentioned in previous episodes that a lot of these names get changed. I believe, what are the updated names for Mara and Nara?
I believe it is Meena and Maya.
Yes.
Yeah. Those aren't too bad, I don't think.
This might be one of the only times that I might be more okay with the more modernized names, and you know how I'm against that. Especially if it hasn't come out. Well, it probably has already come out. The news that I heard about in Dragon Warrior 7 about someone named Ruff.
Yeah, and his name originally was Gabbo or whatever.
I was furious. I think I was so mad I wrote you on Twitter about it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's a spot you'll be able to change his name, so you can change it if you want, but I'm all right with it.
You're all right with
I've come to terms with it. But like, all right, I'm just going to change it.
You've come to well, yeah, because you know you could just change it. All right.
Yeah.
Did you ever think at any point, the dancer, that's Maya or Mara in this particular chapter, that she was a stripper?
No, because I got the feel from this game that they were kind of like gypsy kind of people.
Sure, I get that too.
Yeah, I got that mostly.
You know what? I think that I at one point might have felt like they're trying to insinuate stripping because I don't know. I can't picture that big of a crowd just watching just to dance.
Right. Yeah, it would be. I guess it would be kind of odd just to see, dancing like a burlesque thing, or even like a, one of those. I forget what the other kind of dances that they have in India where they dance.
Oh, belly dance? No.
Yeah, belly dancing or something like that. But I can't imagine that many people, but she was apparently pretty popular.
Well, yeah, I mean, apparently she was so good that she can just go out there herself, whereas when you go at another time, there's got to be 3 of them out there.
Yes, there was. Yep.
All right, so like I said, it's all about revenge. I thought it was weird that towards the beginning, after you see her dance, their plan was that Balzac would come and see her dance, and that's how they would catch him.
Yeah, I don't know how that was going to work. Maybe yeah, because she's like, oh, I didn't see him in the audience again tonight. It's like, what, that was your plan, get popular then kill him? Because it wouldn't work because they were so weak at that point. I mean, even if they were on a higher level, they were still got rocked.
I guess they were going over the notion of the killer always goes back to the murdering. Well, no, where was he murdered again?
I think he was murdered in their hometown. This town of Monbarbara isn't even the town where these girls grew up. They grew up in a different town.
Right, which we'll definitely get to.
Yeah.
Is there anything noteworthy about this town we should know about?
Pretty much it's kind of interesting if you go day and night. Pretty much you find out that the castle that's in the north, which I believe is called Keelan, and Keel Leon, and that place is pretty much they're gathering girls to go up there. So that was probably something that they might have planned on doing too. Like, oh, we heard about this, so maybe we can go up there. Right. So they're gathering ladies to go up there. So one thing you have to do right off the bat is apparently, Mara did not gain enough money by dancing. They only have 100 gold.
Wow, and, maybe she wasn't that good. Maybe we're overhyping her as a dancer.
Yeah. So you pretty much have to grind or level up and gain a lot of money in the beginning. Now, for this chapter, these 2 characters are rather interesting because one, Mara, the dancer, she's a 100%. She's like a mage, and she specializes in fire magic and whatnot. So, you got to worry about MP, and she's pretty fragile. Nara, on the other hand, is like similar to Christo, where she's going to get some healing stuff, but she's not nearly as and she's not as strong as Christo either. So you have these 2 characters that are sort of weak physically, so you got to kind of change your game up if you're playing and like use the spells that they have and stuff like that. So, as soon as you're upgraded, you head north to the village of Kieves.
Let's talk about the overworld music real quick. What do you think?
Right. Yeah. So yes. So, the interesting thing about this chapter, which is really cool, is that the overworld music is very I want to say kind of like a Spanish kind of thing.
Let me stop you right there, because so when I go and do these notes, what I did, and this is something you probably don't know, but what I'll do when doing some of my notes here is I'll have your Let's Play on in the background, so you kind of get a feel of like maybe some of your thoughts going into it, I guess, is a spoilery kind of thing for me. And I'll tell you right now, Pete, I've known you for not a long time, but enough. We've done enough shows together. I think that you thinking that that Spanish music is one of the weirdest things you've ever said.
Really?
Yes.
What kind of music would you consider it then?
I mean, gypsy style, I guess.
Yeah, see, like Spanish gypsy kind of thing. Because even, interestingly enough, too, when you go into a battle, the music is different as well. It's it's like I guess, I thought it was Spanish, like a Spanish kind of like dancing, kind of like, see, I never figured out where it was from. And gypsy would probably be pretty correct on that.
Right. No, I'm just letting you know that, like, I remember watching it and be like, wait, what? That was my reaction to you. Because then at some points during the Let's Play, you mention it again. And I'm like, because I think you have like a guest on for that episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was originally, the original version.
Because I'm like, oh, come on, Peter, you trying to sell your guest now that this is Spanish too?
No. I was just telling. Well, I was trying to, because he was a musical guy. I figured he might have known a little bit. Where it came from, but yeah. So it's kind of like gypsy. That's why I kind of imagined the 2 girls as gypsies, like, and they're kind of like lost in this world. You know, they're ever since their father died, they're pretty much like, looking for meaning. And then finally they're like, all right, now it's time to go take him on. And this is the music you hear when you're doing
Right.
said revenging.
Also, just another kind of overview of this chapter in regards to your let's play. I believe, unless I have not really watched chapter 5, this is the chapter that you seem to die the most on.
Oh yeah. This one was hard. This one was tough because what I tried to do was I tried to go from Kiev's or whatnot right into the rest of the place without leveling up, because I was like, oh, maybe I can do this. No, you can't. It's hard. It's really hard. I mean, you can do it, but it's really, really hard.
I wonder if it would be as hard as if you tried that chapter 1 no Healy run that we had talked about.
Oh right, yeah. I don't know.
I think you should do that. That should be your own let's play. Just do chapter.
Oh,
1.
I wrote that down. I do have that on the back burner. Looking into doing it.
I did talk to someone real quick, just to stray off just for 1 minute here. I did talk to someone else about the Dragon Warrior series recently, and they said you absolutely can do it with no Healy, but it's much harder because obviously you have no one to heal you when you need. So, but I'm interested in your no Healy run upcoming this Christmas.
I'm definitely considering doing it for sure.
All right, so let's go to their hometown.
All right, so they head to Kiev, which is their hometown, and they meet up with all the people there, and they're like, oh, look, Nara and Mara, you're back. How great. And they go back to their home, which is all busted up. And pretty much what they find out is that Edgar, their father, had another pupil, and his name was Oren, and that he's in the cave to the west of the village. So pretty much what you're going to do now is head over there and head to the cave to the west of the village. Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, no, it's not here. It's later. But anyways, so you're going to go to this cave. Now, this cave is pretty tough because this is where you experience enemies who like to poison you a lot. And if you didn't level up Mara or have enough, Nara, I'm sorry, if you didn't level up Nara enough to have the antidote spell or even have antidote herbs, it can be a real pain in the butt.
Right.
So the cave west of Kiev's is a pretty interesting cave because it's kind of got like elevator areas. Mm-hmm. And when you first go in there, there's a guy who's like, I don't know where to go. I've been all around this floor and I have no idea. So you go down the thing, and there's two main items that you got to get in this place besides looking for Orin. One is the Lamp of Darkness, which makes its appearance again. This is the second time. And you can use that, and it makes it nighttime. And then the second thing is the Sphere of Silence. But you actually meet Orin at the very bottom of the thing, and he's like, hey, girls! Oh, it's good to hear that you're alive. I want to kill Balzac, too, for killing Edgar, and he was pretty much injured, so he was resting in this cave. Mm-hmm. So he joined your group. Now, he is really, really good. He's pretty much the Ragnar of this chapter. Pretty much, he's really strong. He's got a lot of HP, and he can pretty much take a lot of damage. So, unfortunately, you can't control him, but pretty much all he does is attack. So, he's really good. And what he tells you is that you have to find the Sphere of Silence, which is very close to where he is, because he says you need it to defeat Balzac. Right. Because he's aligned himself with like evil people.
Well, and also we during this time, not during this time, but I think we might have got the hint from villagers is that, like you kind of touched on it a little bit, that they are asking for like girls to go to Helion, but also, and I don't think we mentioned this, that whoever was the king, there's rumors that he's been overthrown. Yes.
Pretty much that maybe Balzac is up in Keelan. So they have a Key Lion, Leon, whatever. Anyways, so after we go and get ourselves the Sphere of Silence and Lamp of Darkness, we can head north past Kiev's to the town or the castle of Keelan. Leon. I can never get it right.
It is a little tricky.
Yeah. Anyways, this is one thing that I liked about the the DS version or the mobile version a little bit better is that these towns are named something else, which is kind of funny because none of the other towns are named sort of like this. So the king is trying to rename the castle and the port town to the north called Halville. I forget what it's called in the mobile versions, but I like that fact because then after you deal with all the stuff, they change their names back to whatever they were originally, which I think is kind of cool.
Mm.
And one other thing. Oh yeah, I totally like Orin's name better in this game than what his name is in the remakes.
Oh
Jam.
yeah, that's right. That's horrible too.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that. So you go to Keelan, but you can't get in, or whatever, and you can't get in because pretty much it's locked. But Orin breaks the lock for you. He pretty much like just. I always thought he just like punches the lock and it gets destroyed. But since he's sort of an alchemist, maybe he's got something that he does. He picks the lock or whatever.
That's
so
a
you
good
can
point.
you can explore the castle. You find out that the king is in. You find out that the king pretty much is always hidden. He's never around, and the only way you can get to him is if you scare the chancellor to go see him. Also, you find out a lot of other shady stuff is going on in the castle, like they're collecting women again, and someone was saying how there's like chanting going on in a spot, and they're trying to do some evil stuff. So we find out that, and we head north to the castle or the port town of Halville, which pretty much the villagers there say, if you're looking for something to make a big bang, you gotta go get some gunpowder at the mines to the west. And they pretty much kind of tell you that if you scare the chancellor, you can make him run to the king's chamber and you can get in because he's pretty much what is it? Pretty much in hiding and won't come out.
Right. So the chancellor can show you, or like he knows where to go.
Right. And pretty much you find out that Balzac is the king right now of the castle. He's pretty much usurped the king, and he is the new king. Mm-hmm. So after leveling up quite a bit at this point...
How long do you think it took you to level up to be at the appropriate levels?
Maybe an hour.
Yes,
it didn't take too long.
That's a lot, though. And certainly in those days it was, too.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, this was the first chapter where we actually had... even in the first game where we've actually had monster animation in the sense that we had... We fought a king slime, and if you fought all these slimes together, they literally jumped on top of each other, and then it went like a big smoke, and then boom, it was a king slime. So it was the first time we saw sprite or monster animation, which was kind of neat.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all. That's
I in my first LP, I didn't end up getting a chance to show that off. I fought them off screen, and then I was like, oh shoot, I should show this, but I didn't have the recording stuff up as I was leveling up.
Are there metal slimes or metal babbles in this chapter?
I don't think so.
I'm wondering if that's also part of it, like why it's so hard to level up, because there's no like place that you can actually get a metal slime or a metal babble.
Yeah, where I ended up leveling up was at the next spot that we go to.
Okay.
Which is the Actimo mine.
You mean the saddest place ever?
Oh yeah, totally sad place. So you go into this place, it's already playing sad music like that you would hear. Oh, I don't even know if you hear it yet, but
music like it's definitely something that you would play for if someone died. Right.
So you come into this town and you hear about how they're running out of stuff there to mine and it's just like the whole town's pretty much almost gone. And they tell you that there is gunpowder, but it's in the mine, so you have to head in there. And on our way, we fight a lot of monsters. It's a pretty tough area, but eventually you get to the bottom or the third level or whatever, and you see these guys and they're digging, and they're like, "We're not gonna stop digging till we're dead," which is some sort of weird foreshadowing. Right. And they're digging a hole to who knows where because they're like, "There's got to be gold or whatever on the other side of this thing." So, and they also tell you that there is gunpowder in the chest that's next to them, but it's wet, so all we'll really do is make a giant noise, which is what we want anyways.
Right, sure.
So,
I also like that. So again, I don't know why this is the chapter I keep referencing your Let's Play. There was one thing that you were saying, and it just made me think like, if you're a true Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest fan, like all right, what you said was like, oh, it's like so depressing, like I almost feel like coughing because, but I was like, that would be something. Like, if you're a hardcore Dragon Quest / Dragon Warrior fan, every time you enter this town, you just have to go,
yeah.
And you don't stop until you either enter. No, you don't even stop when you enter the mine because that's part of it. You only stop when you leave, or maybe if you go to the inn because you're asleep.
Yeah. Yeah, it is an odd town. I don't remember if they mentioned that there was gases coming out of the mine yet, or...
You're right. Maybe not yet, but something's up.
Yeah, something is up because this town's messed up.
And I don't know why people don't just leave.
And at that point, I'm not 100% sure why they don't leave either. Like, the people who are above the mine, if they don't have someone who's down in the mines...
Yeah.
I'd be out of there. I'd be like, yeah, why am I staying here?
If you're not a miner,
exactly,
basically.
And the thing about it is like it's kind of creepy when you go in the mines because you go to this area where there's this big graveyard and you talk to a guy and he's like, oh yeah, I knew a bunch of these guys here. It stinks, and you're like, oh man, maybe you should get the hell out of here.
He's just sitting there.
Yeah. So now that we have the gunpowder, we head back to Keelan or whatever. Anyways, we head back there, and I keep wanting to say Keelan.
I can't wait till we go back in Chapter 5 and how you're going to handle it.
Yeah. Hopefully, I can get it right. Anyway, so we head to the castle, and I think you have to do it at night. I'm not 100% sure because they give you the lamp of darkness for some reason.
That's true. I thought you could do it during the day, but you're right because. Well, I think you might be right, because why would you get the Lamp of Darkness if it didn't need to be night at some specific point of this chapter? Right.
So, I don't remember 100%, but you might need to have it to be at night. You might not. Anyways, you go back into the castle. Warren opens the locks for you. You go into the corridor that's right next to the Chancellor's room. You use the gunpowder thing. It scares him. He runs up. You got to follow him, but not right behind him, or he won't move. So you gotta kind of like sneakily go around, and he'll open up the wall and he'll go in, and then finally you can go and check that wall out too.
Right.
And as you go in, you see Balzac, and he pretty much taunts you a little bit, and he says, I got all this power. You're not going to be able to defeat me. You're Edgar's daughters, and Oren, you can't beat me. So you have to fight him, and if you do not have the Sphere of Silence at this point, it is a pretty nasty fight, but it can be done.
You can do a no Sphere of Silence run too.
That would be pretty crazy. I probably could if I leveled up enough.
See, the only thing that would turn me off of a no Sphere of Silence run is that it's all the way in Chapter 4, at least the no Healy run. Is right, you start the game up, there's Chapter 1, let's try this no Healy run. To even try it, you have to go a considerable amount into the game.
Right, yeah. Which wouldn't be a problem if I can find like a Chapter 4 thing. But yeah, so the Sphere of Silence does pretty much what you think it does. It silences Balzac's spells. So all he really has is his physical attacks to hit you with. So once you fight him, you beat him, and you're thinking, oh yeah, we avenged our dad, woohoo, yes. But, like a typical role-playing type game, an even greater evil comes out, and he starts, his name is, this is why I say Keelan for some reason. I think his name is Keelan or something like that.
Right.
And he is this giant lion with 6 arms or 8 arms, or no, 4 arms or something like that.
Right, sure.
He's this giant friggin' lion guy, and he's like, Balzac, you're terrible. What the hell? Now, sisters or daughters of Edgar, I'm gonna fight you. Now, this part, you cannot win. I thought honestly you could if you kept going, but if you fight this guy, there's no way to win. So he defeats Orin, Nara, and Mara.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, game over. Shit, what am I supposed to do? There's gotta be something you can do. But you wake up in the castle jail cell where you talk to an old man who in the updated versions, the DS and the mobile versions, you actually find out that he was the old king.
Oh, I don't think I even knew that.
Yeah, so he was the old king pretty much, and he tells you that you got to get out of this country, take his boarding pass, and leave while you still can. So you grab the boarding pass, and you're able to go through a secret passage that leads you out of the castle, but not before the guards find you. And pretty much Orin's like, "Yo, I'll deal with this. You guys go and go get on that ship."
Right.
So you leave the castle and you head up to Halville. Although, if you go back to the castle right as you leave it and go back in, Orin is there lying on the ground, and he's telling you, "Don't worry about me. Go back, go to the go to the ship."
Right.
So the girls
don't forget about Orin.
Yeah, don't forget about Orin because he might pop up.
That's what he should have said. As you're leaving, that should have been what he said to you. Is, "Don't you forget about me."
Yeah, that would have been nice if And I was kind of sad at that point, like even when I was playing, because I was like, "Oh no, there goes my best attacker,
my best character."
But so the girls are at a really low point. They defeated Balzac, but it wasn't a true beat because he's still alive. And they're like, "Man, what are we going to do?" So they head up to Endor because there was one thing I forgot to mention. As we're exploring the world of Chapter 4, there's like a little shrine that you can go to, and pretty much he's like, this guy or girl, I'm not sure which one, I think it might be a nun. Anyway, she pretty much tells you that you're just two little rays of light that are going to join up with the bigger ray of light. But before you can do that, you're going to have to sink to your lowest level before you can start. I forget what the word it was, but pretty much, you're going to hit your lowest point to leave in order to get better, kind of thing.
Right.
So, after remembering that, they head over to Halville. They find out that the very last ship that's heading out of the port and to Endor, which we should be familiar with a little bit, pretty much they're like, it's going to set sail after this. No one, there's not going to be a ship for a while, so this is it. So the girls get on. They talk to everybody. The captain says, "All right, let's go." And they sail off to Endor. They're kind of like sad because they don't know what's going to happen to them. All they know is this prophecy about the eight rays of light coming together to become one big ray of light kind of thing. And they're like, "What are we going to do?" And it kind of ends uncertain for the ladies.
It does. They're just on a boat.
Yeah, they're on a boat. They get to Endor, and they're just uncertain on what's next.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it, really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to add. I'm just curious. Here's a note that I have, and I don't even know if you could answer this. But so, how many times did you die in this chapter on your Let's Play?
I probably died maybe 3 times.
All right.
Probably twice in the mine and one in the cave where you got Orin.
Okay.
I might have died 3 times.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it was probably not to make any excuses, but
sure.
It was probably just because I was like, let's see if I can get through here without really leveling up and seeing what I can do. But I should have just been like, you know what, just do it the way you usually do it and just level it up.
You were going for a speed run, that's all.
Yeah, sort of.
So overall, what were your thoughts? What did you like? What didn't you like about this chapter? I mean, for me, I do think the fact that the game kind of makes Mara and Nara very weak does kind of hurt it, because then you are spending a solid amount of time, probably more than the other chapters that we've discussed, leveling up.
Yeah. I would probably rank this story-wise. I'd probably rank this, like I was telling you, I'd probably rank it like the second most interesting story because it's like a revenge plot. You want to revenge the death of your father. It's kind of neat. But and I like the music too. I like the fact that they actually changed the battle music, which was really cool. But just the instance of oh man, it is a difficult chapter. It really is, because if you travel too far out of the way of where you're near, especially like that first town, if you try to travel north too far, you will get rocked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to be very wary about hanging around near town and making sure you're healing up.
Yeah, and then of course, I don't know, I just like the whole. There's something that I like about the whole, or maybe not like, but that's very interesting to me about Ektempo, and being like they have the saddest music that they could have arranged at the time, I'm sure.
Yeah,
and just like everyone's super depressed. I think that one point. I think if you go either during night. If you go there at night and you go to the priest, like he doesn't even heal, he doesn't even save your game.
Yeah,
He's so depressed.
Yeah. This chapter definitely has a lot of atmosphere. You know what I mean? With the different music, even with the different music in that town. I'm pretty sure that might be the first time you hear that song, and you're like, "Wow, this is sad."
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I do want to point out as well, since the next chapter is 5, so the plan right now is for myself and Pete to kind of break that chapter in half. And I know I didn't mention it for the last couple of episodes. I think I mentioned it in the hype to, before the series started. But it's my fault that I did not bring it back up. So I do want to remind people that Chapter 5 is going to be in 2 parts separately. And I think when you hear the way the special turns out, you'll see why there's a very clear divider.
Right, of Chapter 5 is bigger than any of the chapters yet. So it's going to take a while to, just kind of talk about it. So
yeah.
We don't want to have like a 3-hour or 2-hour discussion on it. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I probably can, but
yeah.
I think it's for listening purposes. I think it would be better if the big amount of time was broken into 2.
Yeah, that's fine with me too, because we have a logical point in which we're gonna kind of stop and then pick it up, so it'll be all good.
Right. All right, so let's get some final plugs from you, and then we'll head out and see people next time on Chapter 5.
All right, so you can go to YouTube, type in Kenshin1913, and you'll find me there. Facebook, you can do the same thing, and Twitter, you pretty much go Kenshin1913. You type it up in Google, you'll pretty much find me wherever you want. I got once again YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. So that's pretty much it.
And don't forget, he's gonna have a no Healy run this Christmas.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope you have some of this stuff done. Hopefully by the end of the year. Yeah, definitely.
All right, very good. All right, everyone, we'll catch you next time for Chapter 5 of Dragon Warrior for Life, this mini-series of Dragon Warrior 4. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to the Jim Boy Star podcast. Please visit the website www.thatspodcasting.com, where you can get the latest news on all of the latest upcoming episodes of this show. And you could download the archives of previous episodes, and don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher for the latest episodes coming right to you right when they're released. You can also follow me at www.twitter.com/JimBoyStar. This is my story, and thank you for being a part of it.